Hey, this is Matt from Budget Boostin'. Today we're going to talk about the new race engine for the 1987 Buick Regal Turbo T Limited. This car right here. I've been wanting to do this engine change, and I've been planning for this engine change for quite some time now. And if you remember the video where we talked about breaking down an engine and showing you engine components, this was that engine. This started out as a wrecking yard engine that I took off an '84 Buick Regal, and it had a larger displacement from the factory than this 3.8 here. The 3.8 in the Buick Regal Turbo T is a 3.8 liter or 231 cubic inch. This engine started as a 4.1 liter or 252 cubic inch engine, but since then has been stroked. I did a stroker on this one. Take off the oil pan, you can see the new stroker crankshaft. So it's a 33.9 or 3.625 inch stroker crank, and it's got the 6.350 length H-beam connecting rods. And it's got the diamond forged 4-inch bore pistons. So stock, this thing had 3,400 cc's of stroke or 3.4 inches of stroke. Now this has 3.625 inches of stroke. So you can compare the stroke, and the bore of this engine used to be 3.965. Yeah, 3.96 bore. Now it's 4 inches of bore. So 3.9 or 3625 stroke, 4 inches of bore, and that equivalates 274 cubic inches or 4.5 liters. So that's a huge jump on the 4.1 or 252 to 274 cubic inches from 252 cubic inches, 4.1 to 4.5, and that's a really big jump from the 3.8 liter V6 turbo engine in this Buick right now, which is 231 cubic inches. So this car is going from 231 cubic inches to 274 cubic inches, or 3.8 liters to 4.5 liters, with forged pistons, a forged fully counterweighted crankshaft, H-beam connecting rods, forged 4-inch pistons, a whole different bore, a high-flowing timing cover with the oil ports machined out to flow more oil, a high-flowing oil pump, and this is where the water pump goes on the timing cover. It's got a double roller timing chain, and I'm going to spin the engine over so we can look at the top end of the engine. Alright, we've turned the engine over, so now you can see the top end of the engine. This has brand new roller rockers, which are a 1.55 ratio, so that gives you more lift and duration out of the camshaft. More lift. And we got these roller lifters right here, which instead of friction rubbing from the cam to the lifter, it's got a roller on it, so that reduces a lot of friction. The same with the lifters. And the push rods, rub the push rods to the valves. There's a roller. There's a roller on there instead of just a surface for the valve to rub on. You see the little roller there, so that reduces friction right there, and you can go higher RPMs. It's got the higher RPM heavy-duty springs on there, made for roller cams. And these are Champion heads, which have bigger intake ports, and the EGR ports are filled in to where they're not going to affect the performance. Got larger exhaust ports, larger intake and exhaust valves. So, and you can see the Cometic multi-layer steel head gaskets, the Cometic head gaskets, which are the strongest for supporting boosted engines for this special Buick engine here. It's got a machined hole right here, which the 4.1 doesn't come with because the 4.1 was never a turbo engine, but the Buick's oil return line is right in this front cover here, so we had to machine it 1/2 inch NPT threads so the return line from the turbo can go back to the oil galley right here, to the lifter galley, and then go back to the oil pan. So this engine has come a long way from the first video where I showed this engine coming apart. It has totally different heads. The lower end's the same, except it's been checked for cracks. It's been magnafluxed. It's been totally cleaned. Brand new freeze plugs put in it. Of course, all the other stuff I stated before, the new pistons, the new crank, the new rods, all balanced lower end. So I'm expecting good things out of this engine, not to mention the upgraded T76 turbo that's going on there instead of this T66, which is on the 3.8 engine right now. So the combination of a larger bore, a larger stroke engine with a larger turbo is going to equivalent quite a lot of power. I'm estimating somewhere around well over 800 horsepower plus. My goal would be, I'd love to get 1,000 horsepower out of this thing, but I'm figuring I'll be humble. 800 horse and above is what I'm looking for as a goal here with this whole combination of the engine. So that's it for now. I'm going to make some videos in the future and show steps that I do, because I've already removed the hood off the Buick over here. Say I'm getting ready to take the engine out of this Buick, and then I'm going to put them side by side and transfer some of the parts that need to go from this engine to this engine, and then put it right back into the Buick. Also, since I'm going to be making a lot more power, I'm having to put a different drive shaft in this Buick to withstand the power, and here it is over here. I've got this much larger drive shaft, and it's rated to handle 2,500 horsepower. So my goals are around 1,000 horsepower or 800 plus, but I wanted a drive shaft much more powerful because drive shafts are known to give out because they take a lot of load in a race when you go down the track. So I figured the strongest drive shaft I could get would be the best. In this box I've got a new 200 4R transmission. It's a stage 2. It's rated for over 700 horsepower. So this transmission is going to also go in the Buick with the 3200 stall 9-inch torque converter. So with all those working together, I should have a nice running all-around Buick. And the rear end is already built to a locker. I've got a tall rear end in there already. It's got a 308 to 1 gear ratio with high strength steel splines, and it's got a locker in it. So this rear end is built really good. It's got traction bars down there, and I've got also airbags in the coil springs to prevent the rear end from squatting when I'm under hard acceleration. What actually happens with the traction bars is my rear end lifts a little bit on acceleration, so the drive shaft remains as straight as possible during acceleration. So all in all, Buick's going to be coming together in the next month or so, and I'm looking forward to trying it out at Top Gun on the track when she's done and broke in. So that's it for now on the Buick. I'll make some videos in the future showing what's happening, what's next on the Buick, and as we get things started on this engine swap and transmission swap, drive shaft swap. I'm also converting the console shifter here. I've got a console shifter inside the car right now. I'm going to convert it to a floor shifter, which is that TCI fastgate shifter up on my shelf over there. So that's another modification I'm going to do to the car. So little by little, this car is going to be one heck of a fun track car, and if I feel like it, I'll take it to Hot August nights in Reno and cruise it around. Maybe take it to the show. We'll see. See how the project keeps going. And thanks again for watching Budget Boosting. If you like us on Facebook and YouTube, and like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube page. Check out our Budget Boosting webpage, budgetboosting.com. check out our window stickers, and they add power to every car you got. Sticker tuning. Just ask any Honda guy. Anyhow, thanks for watching us, and have a great day. And remember, knowledge is power. It's horsepower. This car also has the nice Arizona Z Willwood brake system. Very nice setup. It's a very nice setup if you have the money to get it. It's really nice, and it brakes on a dime. It's a very good setup.